Yeah, welcome back to DXB today. Hope you're enjoying the show thus far. We look to, well, not just entertain, but also to inform. We're certainly doing that here this evening with a big focus on all things Emiratisation in all its guises. We couldn't ask for a better guest to join us now. A pioneer who is, of course, a pioneer empowering Emirati professionals by fostering opportunities and creating impactful change within the UAE, but not just within the UAE, further afield as well. Known for his transformative contributions, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome into the studio from the Watani program at PwC Middle East, Kazim. Hamid, thanks so much indeed for being with us.
Thank you, and quite honored to be in this program.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Yeah. I know it's a busy time for you, so I really appreciate your time. And what better subject to have you on? I mean, a man who, along with your team, has created a program that has become part of the narrative of the UAE. You know, we mentioned to Talib earlier on, a lot of us understand the word Emiratisation and what the Emiratisation endeavour is looking to achieve. You can't mention Emiratisation without Watani now, and the Watani program.
Right.
For those that don't understand what the Watani program is, explain a little more to us.
Well, it's a simple label, and it means actually my nation or my country. That's what it stands for. We just chose this one just to simplify the various brandings and the names as well. So the essence actually was very much to develop Emiratis in professional services. Now I've done that because I was managing partner of Anderson and then managing partner of Ernst & Young, and I've done that in different guises. But it took off in PwC, and I don't do this for a living, by the way. I mean, I do other things. Yes. But as part of my bit as well, you know, I thought the best way to leave a legacy and to pay back the country what it has given us, which should be, I think, the duty of everyone, right, in their own bit. So we started this program, well, I think time flies, probably 2012, roughly. And the idea was try to develop and, you know, employ Emiratis in professional services. And I purposely positioned that in what I call client-facing. Not, with all due respect, not support services, admin, HR. Don't get upset with me that you guys, if you are into these positions, okay? Or as receptionists, we put them actually as accountants, consultants, corporate finance, etc. So we embarked at that time, and it has been evolving ever since. You know, we are into multiple versions of this program. And there are different flavors of this program now. The one who is leading it currently at PwC is my colleague. He's an Emirati partner. His name is Khalid Break. I think you're going to have an interview with him sometime later. But let's say I'm the Don Corleone.
Oh, the Godfather.
In a good way.
He's the Godfather of Watani. I love it.
I'm really interested to understand, like, how do you, I guess, select and indeed nurture and develop certain Emiratis nationals for the organization?
I think the principle behind it is not that different from actually, you know, recruitment, right, or headhunting. Nowadays, there's a fancier name of talent management, okay? It's the same thing. It's to know, for example, what kind of fish you want to catch, where are the fishing grounds, what times, and all of these things, depending on what you want, right? So the principle behind it is the same, except that you have to be discerning about where you can find the right caliber and profile of Emiratis that you want to target, obviously. And it has been an evolving process. Since I've been through part of this myself in my career, it helped me to identify, you know, let's say, the right spots and the timings and everything else. And as I said earlier as well, it has been an evolving process.
Since 2012?
Oh,
yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Hamid, I like the Don Corleone metaphor.
In a good way, okay?
In a good way, yes.
I don't cut heads.
In a good way.
Well, I do.
Now, I can't unhear PwC and Don Corleone. Yeah, absolutely.
They're not synonymous, okay?
Yes.
They'll kill me for that.
So Don Corleone away, movies away. The Watani program, right? And this is a question I've always had, and it's posed to me as a consultant. When we speak to companies and they have finance and accounting positions, we have to make the case for you hire a national for these roles, as opposed to hiring people from different countries. And obviously you see the competition, whether it's from Asia, Europe, and the States. PwC, if you would make an argument for your graduates, for your talents, to a private sector company like mine, to hire finance graduates, finance and accountants from PwC, from the Watani program? What argument would you make? I'm really curious.
So from the perspective of the employer and not the employee, because they have different arguments depending which side, right?
Yes.
Why should an Emirati, for example, join professional services with 8-10 hours at a minimum, private sector, and so on and so on.
Yes.
But from the employer's perspective, I mean, there are multiple ones, okay? And they are convinced of it in different ways, depending which industry they are, how educated professional, and how committed they are to the society. At a bare minimum, I think it behooves any company, anywhere in the world, to pay back to the society what you're taking from it. I mean, effectively, you are making your livelihood out of society. It can be here, it can be anywhere. At a bare minimum, pay back part, to the society. And it can be done in different forms, right, and shapes. So this is actually one of the ways to pay back to the society. And to also, impart your knowledge and skills partly to the society through employment of Emiratis. If you were to be commercial, just commercially selfish, commercially minded, let's assume that is the case, right? And some people are like that. There's a commercial imperative. Over time, the role of Emiratis will help you as well in your company. Whether it opens doors, not because they are actually, they are
second nature
because
for,
of language,
for
and they know the culture and the dynamics as well.
Good connections.
So it's much more beyond that. So there's a commercial imperative to do that longer term as well. And if the public sector forms or comprises the bulk of our economy, when I'm talking about the government or public sector, it could be directly bureaucracy of government, or it could be government related, what they call GREs, right? Because of familiarity, because we're a small society, you're bound to know somebody somewhere, right? It helps facilitate, obviously, business development. If we were to talk only about business development. So there's a commercial imperative. In terms of costs of employee, I'm not against the expats. Expats have got an important role. The right expats have got an important role. But so are the Emiratis as well.
I agree.
And they work hand in hand, in harmony. The Emiratis in total, if you were to actually account for every single penny, or fils in our case at least, okay? They cost, on balance, less than an expat. If you factor in everything, visa, labor costs and everything else. And if you add to the more recent incentives, which the government has been actually providing, whether from NAFIS program or Muhri, etc., it becomes even actually less expensive. So as an investment, if you were to look at, for example, employment as an employee as an investment, and you're looking at the return on investment, the cost of that investment actually longer term is cheaper.
Looking back at the participants who joined Watani program and later on progress, how do you measure their success and progression within the work field?
That's easy because the same principles, what we don't compromise on is performance and attitude. That equally applies to everyone, expats. And so in PwC, we don't actually compromise on these things. And we have obviously, we have KPIs that measure performance, whether good or bad, etc. And, account them for their performance, but equally nurture them and also help them overcome some of the difficulties. Again, same principles apply. We don't differentiate between Emiratis. Once they are employed, they are treated the same as the others as well.
Hey, Don Hammond.
Yes.
You okay to stick around for a while?
No.
Okay, no, please do. Huh? We don't want to sign you off, all right?
I don't know what is happening today on tonight's DXP today. It's gone all over the
Talking
place.
to him, talking to me, talking to him.
Hamid, stay with us. Stay with us also as well as guest co-host. Right, we're just going to quickly look at tonight's spotlight. Now, it's on an online fashion marketplace dedicated to showcasing authentic designs made by emerging homegrown talent from the region. This is Buksha.
Hi, my name is Mariam Mansouri. I'm the marketing director in Buksha. Buksha is an online marketplace for Khaliji and Arabian fashion in the Middle East. Today, we have over 1,500 independent designers on Buksha, and we have over 45,000 products ranging from abayas, kaftans, dresses, fragrances, with the concentration of Khaliji and Arabian fashion. The journey started when the founders started to see a growing trend on social media The local Emirati and Khaliji designers were creating unique pieces for their family and friends. And then the demand started to come. So they wanted to create a platform, a digital platform that would get these designers under one spec by empowering them, by giving them the right resources, and at the same time support the new businesses and hence become an entrepreneurship enabler. We have a strong presence in the region. We also go beyond regional borders. Today, we have shipped to over 90 countries worldwide, showcasing the Arabian and the Khaliji fashion. Adapting to the new trends and technologies is a key challenge in the online and fashion industry. We need to ensure we refine our strategies to ensure we meet the needs of our customers and our boutiques. And lastly, we need to stay constantly vigilant to ensure we're ahead of the curve. Our long-term plan is to become the leading hub for Khaliji fashion in the region. We want to empower our designers by showcasing their unique items worldwide. At the same time, we want to foster an ecosystem that nurtures entrepreneurship. And we hope that this would contribute to the economic growth and the prosperity in the region. Dubai is the ideal place to do business due to its strategic location. It has business-friendly policies that support businesses. It has a diverse economy, and it fully supports and promotes innovation.
All the extraordinary work of Buksha there, just one of a number of Emirati startups being supported in the SME landscape here in the UAE. Right, that was a little roundup on that. What about the roundup down here? Maytha, it's over to you.
Well, Tom, the UAE has seen a 170% increase in Emiratization in the private sector since September 2021, following the launch of the NAFIS program, enhancing job stability and the range of incentives and private companies. More than 97,000 UAE citizens are now employed in over 20,000 private sector companies, underlining the effectiveness of the government's Emiratization decision and initiatives. So that's an impressive amount of Emiratis now working in the private sector here in the UAE.
Well, we've got one right here.
Yeah.
Here he is, standing for everyone.
Yeah. I remember the days when I experienced unemployment after I graduated from high school. So I was unemployed Emirati, and then I experienced being a minority Emirati in the private sector, and then I experienced being a consultant for companies on Emiratization. So that really tells me a picture when I look at the numbers today. I remember when we first started our company in 2006, we were talking about, and Hamid probably would remember, there was the 1%, barely 1% nationals in the private sector back then. And it took a lot of years. There was the Emiratization award, there was the year of Emiratization by the government. There's a lot of initiatives. And today to see those numbers touch almost 100,000, that's very impressive.
Hamid, very quickly, your thoughts on the numbers. Are you happy with the numbers telling the right story there, or could more be done?
I'll call it work in progress. Yep. I think there has been significant headway, but we've still got a long way to go.
What can be done?
How long you got?
Yeah, that's true.
You want half an hour PDF download?
No. Go on, a 10-second, give us that one-liner. This will be on Instagram, so make it good.
I'm not perturbed by your Instagram.
But what can be done to make those numbers just go stronger?
As I always say, it's actually all of the above. A lot can be done by the private sector itself, continuous support by the government, incentivization of the private sector, and that can in itself take not necessarily financial form, other forms, probably longer term as well, as it happens, for example, in other countries with taxation, right? Yeah. You embed some of those social policies in your tax system to drive a certain behavior.
Yeah. No,
and you with the young generation as well. I mean, you'll see obviously some change as well. Their propensity to work in private sector, their willingness in this case, has changed as well in a good way. It's still a long way.
Nice.
Okay? Don't get me wrong. We're not talking about 1 or 2. We're not that much anyway.
But we're getting there. Yeah.
At some stage, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say two things can be done: retention and growth. retaining nationals, growing nationals across this sector, because now we've reached 97,000 Emiratis. The next question is, how do we keep them? Because retention is key and critical. It's something that really worries organizations. And it's costly also for companies who hire nationals and then lose them within 2 to 3 years. So retention and growing leaders in these sectors.
Actually, loss attrition actually is part of our program. We know by design that people would leave. We just make it amicable departure. And also it's a recycling of talent, because when they leave PwC, a preeminent company in its own respect, they'll end up somewhere in the UAE benefiting the society. So we're not concerned about that.
That's really interesting. That's fascinating. I could talk to you about this for ages. We're going to move on. Ahmed, thank you so much. As Tom said, we know you're so busy, so we really appreciate you coming in. Talib, stay with us just for a little while. We're going to quickly go to a break, because coming up, we are going to get the insights into the latest Emiratization guidebook with a leading recruitment and specialist company in the region. Plus, of course, we have music on the way, so don't go anywhere.